Kyle, it's Tanya.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Well, I know it's been a very exciting time for you, and we can jump on in on this because the Swan Song series having just released, and we're looking at, I guess it's a 3-disc collection, right? Compiled of all the EPs of the last few years.
Right.
I mean, there are so many different sounds and instruments on this. And I guess you have the freedom to do that when you're doing EPs. Like, I don't know if you went into that thinking, like, this has to have one coherent sound like some albums would or anything like that. I mean, it's...
No, there was no real thought process at all going into this. It was really more about the people that I wanted to work with than it was about any particular sound. So it's all over the place, which I kind of like.
Yeah, did you ever find that any sound was too much of a challenge? Did you ever back away from trying out a new voice or a new character?
There were a couple of songs that were difficult for me to pull. I think probably more on the few examples where someone sent words, because lyrics come to me most easily, I should say. And so working with other people's words was challenging a couple of times, and unfortunately I did have a couple of fails in that department. Well, sometimes it's funny because you can have a song that is the biggest pain in your ass ever and just goes nowhere, and then you can have that same situation, and then all of a sudden it comes together and it becomes your favorite. So I think, digging in when something is hard is always a good idea, even if it doesn't come to anything.
Yeah.
So,
well, for as long as you've been a songwriter now, in all of your different bands, through all of your solo records, and now this massive little compilation, I mean, you have so many songs to choose from on any given night if you just wanted to do a show. Like, how hard is it to keep up with your catalog, or do you even pay attention that much to your back catalog?
I do pay attention to the back catalog. I actually will. I ask people's advice a lot because I don't listen to my own music, so sometimes I do have to go back and sort of read through the track list and see what I've forgotten about. And that's been the case with this Belly reunion too, that people have, as we've been watching our by we I mean Tom and Chris, they're doing the website, as they've been sort of handling all the social media for Belly, a lot of songs have come up, and they'll say, hey, this one keeps coming up and we don't have it on the set list, and so we will add it. So I do listen to that, and it's easy to forget, it's easy for things to fall through the cracks. So.
Well, I'm just guessing though, you must still write like fairly consistently though to have this much of an output. Yeah,
I do. I collaborate more now, which is why it's which is where that volume comes from, because I do, honestly, I enjoy writing with other people infinitely more than just sitting by myself. I'm just kind of more of a social worker. Right. I like...
That's the business card right there. Yes. Tanya Donelly, social worker.
I like... I just want somebody... I enjoy having someone else in the room, or, I love having... someone else's, it just taps something, and I think that this is the case with almost everybody. It taps something in you that obviously it wouldn't normally, so you end up being much more prolific as a result, which makes sense.
Has that always been consistent? Because, it's easy to look at your discography and say there was a massive lapse in time there, between 2006 and 2013, and maybe you were working on other projects that, just slipped past me or something, but,
No, I wasn't. I mean, I had sort of very happily, let me preface this with, fallen into, just sort of doing things with my friends locally. And honestly, that's my favorite thing to do, is to show up at someone else's show. So that is what I have been playing out and doing things, and pretty active, but, just sort of in Boston for the most part.
It's kind of interesting that when you are a public figure and we as a public get used to you, being around, and suddenly you're not, it's almost like, no, she's disappeared from the face of the earth.
Right. I know, it's so funny. Yeah, that's what whenever I see those, if anybody says, where are they now about anybody? I'm like, living on Earth. Probably Probably fine.
They're making dinner right now. They're watching something on Netflix. But I know this is a busy year, and you bring up Belly, and of course we need to talk about that too, because this year you're in the land of Belly once again after all this time. Like, how are the old clothes and the yearbook photos looking right now? Because this, in some sense, is a nostalgia trip.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it is in some ways. I think. We have decided we've been writing a handful of songs to sort of offset that to offset it being just a nostalgia trip and nothing else. But it is something. There's also something in it for us, which is that things ended a little too abruptly for all of our likings, and so I think we're feeling like this is a nice. I keep using the word postscript, but I don't think that's an accurate description. It's more just sort of epilogue. Yeah. Something that we're very happy to be doing, and just playing together has been so great, doing that again in these songs, which I've missed quite a bit. So.
You say that, and that sounds like the personal side of it. With writing new songs artistically, is there an actual need to get something new from the name Belly?
No, I don't think it's so much a need as just, I don't know if we would have actually made this decision to write more songs if Tom and I hadn't written for the Swan Song series, and then Gail's band and I wrote together for the Swan Song series. Her partner Chill sent me some music, and I wrote lyrics to that, and so it sort of was that was kind of a bridge almost, those little smattering of songs we did together for Swan Songs. It just sort of felt like, well, we did a pretty good job with those, so let's just try some more. So,
as far as the direction, are you ready to talk about what they sound like yet? I know you're kind of keeping them close.
It's hard to know. It sounds like us, but also sort of we're bringing all of our, we've changed a lot individually, musically, and so we're bringing that to it as well. It's going to be interesting to see, because we've been trying to sort of do it remotely, kind of like, sending each other tracks, and now here's my new vocal, and now you send this back, and we sort of came to the conclusion just this last weekend, actually, that we might want to try to do it in the studio all together, because it's just feeling a little Frankensteinian at the moment. So we'll see how it goes.
And that's where the magic happens, for better or worse.
Yeah, for better or for worse. Tom's amazing in the studio, and so his quote unquote demos sound very ready. Right. And so probably I would say the skeletons of his songs would be the ones that would retain most of their original tracks. So.
I did see you making a joke out there that suddenly you might be having to explain to youngsters that you're not the rapper.
Oh my God!
The same name.
I know, isn't that so? It's just so
not a
funny.
Copyright thing, by the way, I thought that you can't do that.
You know what? I think because, we haven't been active for 20 years, so it just didn't really come up, and I think it's tricky with. I mean, not that we would ever go legal on this, because honestly, it's going to be fine, and we don't really care that much. And vice versa. I mean, I'm hoping he wouldn't either. But, his is like a shortcut for Rebellious, which is his pseudonym. So it's sort of tricky in this situation, because there's like John Doe, for instance. There's a rapper named John Doe, and then there's John Doe. I think it's just kind of tricky, because it's sort of like he's a person named Belly, we're an group entity named Belly. I think it will all be figured out, and meanwhile, I think it's just been sort of funny.
Yeah. So. I think the greatest thing in the universe that could happen right now is that you guys come out with a cover version of one of his songs.
I know, that's what we were saying. We were actually saying in practice last weekend, we were like, we should at least learn one song just in case.
Just put it out there. Everybody's in on the jokes, so it's all good. Well,
it's like, pick the one with the most swears in it, and that's the one we're going to do.
That's it. I can't wait to hear the Belly stuff, and I know there's a reissue coming out this month too, right? The
Yeah,
vinyl
yep.
reissue.
On 4AD Biggers, is
Yeah.
putting it out. Yeah.
Those are great people over there.
Oh my gosh, I love them. Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I'm going to get my hands on that, and I so look forward to the new music. And again, thanks for this Swan Song series. Because
Oh, thank you.
If this is, I think it's established. You're not done making music, but if you're done making music just under your own name, this is a really, really great way to wrap it all up with a nice bow.
Thank you. You know, I have to say, I'm really, I can say this because they're all collaborations. I'm really proud of these songs.
Yeah, well, I love them too. So we'll see you out there on the road somewhere.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Kyle.
All right, thanks, Tanya. Bye.
All right, bye.